Scientists calculated how much exercise you need to offset a day of sitting. We know that spending lots of time sitting down is not good for us, but just how much exercise is needed to counteract the negative health effects of sitting down all day? Research suggests about 30 to 40 minutes per day of building up a sweat could do it. Up to 40 minutes of moderate to vigorous intensity physical activity every day is about the right amount to balance out 10 hours of sitting still, the research says, although any amount of exercise or even just standing up helps to some extent. That's based on the meta-analysis study published in 2020, analyzing 9 previous studies involving a total of 44,370 people in 4 different countries who were wearing some form of fitness tracker. The analysis found the risk of death among those with a more sedentary lifestyle went up as time spent engaging in moderate to vigorous intensity physical activity went down. Inactive individuals doing about 30 to 40 minutes of moderate to vigorous intensity physical activity, the association between high sedentary time and risk of death is not significantly different from those with low amounts of sedentary time, researchers explain. In other words, putting in some reasonably intensive activity, cycling, brisk walking, gardening, can lower your risk of an early death right back down to what it would be if you were not doing all that sitting around, to the extent that this link can be seen in the amassed data of many thousands of people. While meta-analysis like this one always requires some elaborate joining across separate studies and different volunteers, timescales, conditions, the benefit of this particular piece of research is that it relied on relatively objective data from wearables, not data self-reported by the participants. At the time the study was published alongside the release of the WHO 2020 guidelines on physical activity and sedentary behavior, put together by 40 scientists across 6 continents. The British Journal of Sports Medicine, BHSM, also put out a special edition to carry both the study and the revised guidelines. These guidelines, the guidelines emphasize, all physical activity counts and any amount of it is better than none, said physical activity and population health researcher Emmanuel Stamatakis from University of Sydney in Australia. People can still protect their health and offset the harmful effects of physical inactivity. The research based on fitness trackers is broadly in line with the 2020 WHO guidelines, which recommend 150 to 300 minutes of moderate intensity or 75 to 150 minutes of vigorous intensity physical activity every week to counter sedentary behavior. Walking up the stairs instead of taking the lift, the elevator that is, playing with children and pets, taking part in yoga or dancing, doing household chores, walking, cycling, are all put forward as ways in which people can be more active. And if you can't manage the 30 to 40 minutes right away, the researchers say start off small. Making recommendations across all ages and body types is tricky, though the 40-minute time frame for activity fits in with the previous research, and as more data gets published, we should learn more about how to stay healthy even if we have to spend extended periods of time at a desk. And Stamatakis says, although the new guidelines reflect the best available science, there are still some gaps in our knowledge. We are still not clear, for example, where exactly the bar for too much sitting is, but this is a fast-paced field of research, and we will hopefully have answers in a few years' time. The research was published in Science Alert 2020 guidelines, and this is a version of an earlier article published November 2020 on Science Alert by David Neild. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.